he had a bigger fight for me. You know, I'm fighting bare knuckle in front of the entire world, and I'm a story. You know, I went through the fucking ringer. I did some things that I'm not proud of. I've been through some shit, but I get to share with the world what the power of overcoming can do for you.
So
Sorry if I rambled a little.
no, you didn't. This is what I need from fighters. You make it so easy because this is what people want to hear. But the one thing I'm going to say is you should change your name to, Reggie Not So Easy E Barnett, because life hasn't been so easy for you. It sounds like now it's been easy. It seems like now is kind of like you're laying in a bed where you kind of found yourself within the fight game. Like you built up the anger, the energy, but it also feels like you don't really have that much anger there either. You just sound like a real OG. Like you sound like somebody that's been through it and you just love fighting. It's not like you're fighting out of anger or anything, or am I wrong?
No, I'm not. I'm not fighting out of a place of anger. I'm fighting out of. It sounds crazy. A place of contentment and reason because back in the day, my biggest opponent was myself. We chatted a little bit. Like I said, I've been. My main problem when I was an alcoholic and I was a drug dealer and I did a little bit of gangbanging and my life just completely spiraled out of control. And I originally got arrested, man. I was just out drunk driving, delivering some drugs, and I drove off the road. And I deserved everything that came to me. But I was so young and ignorant that I didn't really understand it. And so I didn't man up and do the things that were expected to me. So the road to getting to where I am now was filled with just so much. Man, there are stories we could go into. We'll have to talk on a whole nother time. Just so much more turmoil and chaos. And not just for my life, but the life of the people around me and the people that loved me. I mean, my dad built a gym to keep me out of prison, and I still went. So when I got out, it was like, well, one, if I'm going to fight, because I took a fight 3 days out of prison, and I was beating Thomas Blair's ass, and then he caught me with that head kick, and he ended my dreams and hopes, And I think that was that make or break me point in my life, though. Really, God was like, well, you worked so hard, and that's what you wanted, and I didn't give it to you. What you going to do? You going to go back to your old fucking ways, or you going to keep pushing forward? And me, I was just like, man, I'm just gonna keep trucking forward, but I ain't doing that shit for free no more. That's for what. That was the only thing I said. I wasn't getting kicked in the head for free no more. And so now it's not out of a place of anger. It's a place of contentment, and I'm able to give and be there for the people around me that care about me and love me, and then people out there in the world that I don't really know, but that believe in me and believe in my work and my skill and my talent. I can be a voice for them and hopefully encourage and inspire them through whatever the fuck they're going through in life. Because we still go through. Look at the world today, man. Everybody's going through some shit on a daily basis.
That's one thing I'm trying to get used to. I've been sober going on 4 years now, and it's hard dealing with real life problems when you spend every day running away from it your whole life. So now it's just like you hear stories like this. This is why I do this. Look at you, bro, from prison to pay-per-view. That's crazy.
That's what they said, prison to pay-per-view. And there was a point in my life when I was so hopeless and so down and out that I didn't think that I was even going to live to be 25. And here we almost are a decade later. So, and I can inspire, like I said, I can inspire other people and look back at the road that I went through and know that every single thing that I went through is okay. I'm okay with it. I accept it because it made me the person I am, and it makes me able to go out there and put on the way I do. Everything that happened makes me the fighter that I am. If some of the shit that I went through in life didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have got up off the canvas versus Johnny. I know it for a fact. That I don't know if you went and watched that fight. And that was
I've watched every BKFC since.
That was one of the toughest losses of my life, and it's okay. I've come to terms with it, and I've looked and I've taken the personal victories out of it. But I also know that the things that I went through in life, had I not gone through them, I would not have gotten up off that fucking canvas as many times as I did. And so I'm cool with that. Win, lose, or draw.
So
I didn't lay down. I just didn't lay down like I used to when I was a drunk and just take what was ever going to come to me.
Do you feel like you always had heart, or is that something that you had to learn through life? Like maybe you had heart, but you learned it from realizing that I gotta stand up for myself. I gotta, because there's times where, even people that suffer from depression who didn't get punched in the face or kicked in the head, they can't get out of bed. Here you are, on the canvas, you find that will. Can you explain to the listeners out there what goes through your head in that moment? What makes the decision for you to actually get up, and what for?
For me, I've always had heart, but like you said, it's like any other kind of skill or muscle or whatever. You develop more of it the more you use it. Does that make sense? And so when you find yourself in these situations, whether it's by your own fault or just, happenstance in life where it forces you to use that heart and make the tough decisions. Are you going to get up? Are you going to push through? Are you going to deal with whatever's in front of you? Each time you deal with it a little bit more, and sometimes it's so hard. I've suffered from depression myself. Days where it's like, man, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to train. I don't even want to be a dad today. I'm sure people deal with that, and if any man out here sits there and can't admit that to himself, that is one of the hardest things for men sometimes, to admit that, we have those moments, but we also learn to deal with them, and we accept life for what it is, and we figure out ways around what's in our way, and we keep pushing forward. And when there's a roadblock, sometimes you can't push what's in your way, but you can find a way around it and keep pushing forward. And every time you move forward, even if it's just a centimeter at a time, if you look at those small victories, for me anyway, sometimes just those small victories help propel me forward and forward, and at the end of the road, there's a big victory.
Wow. That's a clip right there. Fight Church with Reggie Barnett Jr. and Evil Eddie. Right there. How about that? And you know what? Going further than, what it takes to get up, I know that you got a big heart because you're obsessed with animals like I am, man. I got a ton of pet rat. Well, I did. Now I got 3 left. But you got like a painter turtle and like 2 crazy giant fish. Do you still have?
Yeah. I have a red belly slider. I found him in the wild. Actually, he was the size of a quarter. When I found him, I almost crushed him at work. And I felt so bad. And I was going to release him in the wild. And I was like, man, he might die. So we put him on the dashboard of the truck, and we were like, we'll figure out what to do with him later. When we got back in the truck, he was gone.
No.
He disappeared.
No.
So it took us like 20 minutes to find him, and I was like, I'm just going to take you home. And we named him Dash, and he went from